Hi everyone! Welcome to my 8th and final book critique. For this week, the main text I chose to focus on is a children's picture book called Caps for Sale by Esfir Slobodinka. This book won the Lewis Carroll Shelf Award, and I will be using it for a 4th grade lesson. This book details the story of a cap salesman who wears all of his merchandise on his head. He wears many different caps of many different colors, and walks around trying to sell them. When he sits down for a nap below a tree, he wakes up and all his caps are gone, and the monkeys in the tree above him are wearing his caps. He demands them back, and the monkeys mock him until he throws his own cap down in frustration and they copy him. He then gathers his caps and continues to sell them. I always loved this story as a child and thought the illustrations were really fun and engaging. For this book, I decided to do a social studies and language arts lesson. For the social studies lesson, I will introduce to the students the idea of buying and selling products. I will ask the students to think about a product they think they might want to sell. This could be anywhere from a certain type of clothing to a gadget of some sorts. It can really be anything they come up with. After they have chosen a product, I will ask the students to create some sort of online website that promotes their product. They can add descriptions and images to make the website their own and to make it look appealing so that people would want to buy whatever it is they are trying to promote. Here's an example of a website I created using Weebly.com, which is a great and easy-to-use free online resource. The product I created is called the Skate and Drink, and as you can see, this website outlines what it is, how much it would be to buy it, and who you can contact, which is just my information. To further this lesson, the students will actually attempt to create their physical product and bring them to a fair where the rest of the school will attend along with parents and teachers. The student will present their product and actually attempt to sell it to the people. Each student will be in a different area of the room, and visitors can walk around looking at everyone's products. This lesson really helps students tap into their creative abilities and think outside the box. It will also show them, through trial and error, what business tactics work and which ones don't work as well. For the language arts lesson, I would have the students write a creative story of their own that incorporates the product that they have created during the social studies lesson. They will write a hypothetical story about themselves and what would happen during their journey to sell their product in real life. They will then read their stories aloud to their peers, and their peers will then have the opportunity to provide feedback to the presenter. The other 4 books I chose to critique for this 8th set of book critiques include I Have a Dream, The Trumpet of the Swan, Maniac Magee, and Joyful Noise. I Have a Dream is a multicultural book by Kadir Nelson that won the Coretta Scott King Award. This would obviously be a really fabulous book to teach all about the impact that Martin Luther King Jr. made in history. He was such a crucial character for his time, and it is very important that students are aware of what he did, especially with his I Have a Dream speech. The Trumpet of the Swan is a fantasy book by E.B. White that was a finalist for the National Book Award for Children's Books. This book is about a swan that was born as a mute, so he decides to learn to read and write. The other swans still cannot communicate with him, and his father ends up stealing a trumpet that he can use. This was one of my all-time favorite books as a little girl, and I love the idea of perseverance and pushing through when things don't necessarily go right. Maniac Magee is the realistic fiction book by Jerry Spinelli, which won the Newbery Medal Award. This is the heart-wrenching story of a boy who loses his parents and moves in with his aunt and uncle. Not liking it there, he runs away from them and is essentially homeless. The story has themes of racial identity and would be great to use in a classroom to bring up a discussion about race and how it doesn't make any other classmates different than others. Finally, the last book I focused on was the Newbery Award-winning poetry book, Joyful Noise by John Fleischman. This book is a collection of various poems for children that mostly involve poetry about insects. The book is set up in a unique way in that the poems are meant to be read by 2 people, either together or alternating. This would be a fantastic tool to use for children to have them pair up together and read the book in unison. This could help the students who are struggling by giving them a partner who may be a more skilled reader. Thank you so much for tuning in for my 8th and final book critique.